Hi, my fellow YouTube subscribers. How are you? I hope you are having a good day. So I just want us to practice the accounting equation. I know it is such a headache for grade 9s and a little bit of a headache for grade 10s. And for those students who are at universities who are doing accounting for the first time, it's a bit of a headache. And it's building up on what we did when we were talking about what to credit and what to debit. So now I want to apply the concept of what to debit and what to credit. Remember, we said the accounts that we debit. I'm just going to make a quick summary here. Go back to the video that says debit and credit. Do go through it and revise. This will make sense for you. So we debit capital. No, man, I lie. We debit expenses. Sorry about that. We debit expenses, credit. We credit capital. We credit liabilities. We credit income. We debit assets. Debit drawings. Yeah, just about it. So this is very important when you're doing your accounting equation. This is very important when you're doing your accounting equation. So I got a question paper online. This is past exam papers. The website is past exam papers. So this question paper I did not develop. I wanted something that has been set at a national standard. So I just want us to do this. So I'm going to be putting government question papers and IEB question papers alike. So I want us to apply what we have learned. So this is 98 marks. And it's 59 minutes. So you can see this is very important to remember that this is very important to remember that if you're writing out of 98 marks, you must know that you're not going to be writing out of 98 minutes. You're going to be writing out of almost half. So they were even generous to say 59 minutes. They should have said 30 minutes or so, because I think it's 1 point, but you almost write for a half or less of the marks you have. Okay. So it says here, analyze the transactions of Celcom traders by filling in the table given in the answer book. So Celcom traders, so I did say this is not my work. I didn't develop this question paper. I got it from past papers. So please download it also as a student and practice. It's a good resource. So I did not develop it. So I need to give credit to whom it's due. Okay, analyze the transactions for Celcom traders by filling in the table given in the answer book. Celcom traders buy and sell cell phones. So I always say as an accountant, you must know what the nature of the business is. So nature of the business is very important. So these people are selling cell phones. So their inventory is cell phones. So we're not going to say inventory is, we're not going to say cell phones is part of equipment. No, they are selling it. So it's the inventory. Just want to highlight. Okay. And now the bank will remain favorable for all transactions. The markup used is 80% on cost. The year end is 30 September. So the financial year end is very important as the accountant. Always note it down. I tell my students, always note it down, because then you know which period you're reporting for. So it's 2009. Okay. So they're saying here, credit card sales not yet recorded. They are 2016 rands. Okay. So we go back. I just want to switch this off. So what's okay? It's transaction number 1. So where would you record credit card sales? So let me explain this. Ne? This is a number of customers, ne? Or one customer. If I can use a practical example for you to have perspective of this, this is they sell cell phones. So let's use a practical example of Pepcell or Mr. Price cell phones or Jet cell phones. Somebody came in the shop and bought a phone with their credit card. So is this a credit sale or a cash sale? Because I, Patiso, went to Pep Home and I bought this. And I bought this phone for 2016 rand using my credit card. So did Pep receive money or did I buy the phone on debt at Pep? I bought it using money because credit card, it's me who is owing, it's parties who are owing the bank, but I do not owe Pep for the phone. So the book of first entry here is CRJ. So CRJ, we know it stands for cash receipts journal. Just text this. Yeah. So it's cash receipts journal. So which account do I debit here? So we're gonna debit bank. Which account do we credit here? We're gonna credit sales. So we're going to say plus $20, $16, I think it was, we've already been given the sales amount. Okay. We got the money in. So plus 2016, the sales have increased. Remember, income increases on the credit side. Assets, which is your bank. Remember the examples I've given you guys. Go through the theory again if you're lost in this transaction. Assets will increase on which side? On the debit side. Okay, so now what's the second entry we have to make? It's the cost of sales. So remember in the theory, go to that YouTube video where I showed the slide that cost of sales is your expenses. So we're gonna debit cost of sales, and what is decreasing? It's inventory or trading stock. Okay, it's inventory or trading stock that is decreasing, and your assets, they increase on the just need to make this quickly. So your assets will increase on the debit side. They will decrease on which side? Your assets will increase on the debit side. They will decrease on the credit side. So that's why we have inventory here. Let me just do this so that we flow. Just give me a moment. DR, CR, DR, CR. Okay. Capital decreases on this side. Okay. Now, this should make sense. Go through the slides on theory if you're still lost here. So your assets will increase on the debit side. They will decrease on which side? On the credit side. So in this instance, because we're selling a cell phone, which is inventory, so our inventory is decreasing with one cell phone less, but one sells more. But now they said the markup is 80% on cost, so we need to calculate that. So we say minus 216 multiplied by 100 divided by 180. There we go. So our assets decrease with 120 and our expenses decrease with the same. So I copy the formula across. Okay, so I hope this transaction makes sense to you guys. It should be very easy now. Especially if you're in grade 10, grade 9, grade 8, it should be a bit of an sort of a shocker, but you get used to it. Okay, B. Richardson, the owner, took a cell phone for his son. So remember, in the theory, we did something called drawings. We didn't really explain it. Drawings, it's when the owner, a sole proprietor, takes inventory or cash for personal use, not for business use. So this is drawings. And drawings, we record them at cost, not at sales price. The phone originally costs 700 and has a retail price of 1,260. So we say 2. Okay, so where would you record drawings? I would record them in the general journal. So drawings, they increase on the debit side. Yay. And they decrease on the, okay, they increase on the credit side. They, and they increase on the debit side. Sorry about that. And then what has decreased? It's inventory, you guessed it. So we're recording this at cost. So now it means we have minus. And then it means we have minus. There. Is still to record something more here? No. We can't record this at the at retail price. We didn't make the sale. We'll be overstating our books. Number 3, purchased inventory from Nokia for 11,000 and received their invoice. Once they say invoice, ladies and gentlemen, means they purchased on credit. They would be very specific if they purchased cash. If they did not specify that they purchased cash, then they purchased on credit. So purchased inventory from Nokia for 11,000. So this, remember, you can get it from past papers, downloads, private paper. So you have access to this. So please download it and let's practice to. In fact, try to do it alone and then go through my video now to see how it can be done better. So purchased inventory. So now I think that was number 3 if I'm not wrong. So we would use a creditor's journal for this transaction. We would use a creditor's journal. So what's the account to debit? It's inventory. We purchased inventory. Purchase this inventory on credit. For how much? I think it was in 11,000. And we have a liability now. Liabilities increase on the credit side, they decrease on the debit side. Now I think, what am I doing? I think this is starting to make sense. Okay, so there's nothing more we can do here. So paid DHL for carriage on purchases for check 180. Now, depending on which inventory system we use, if we are using the periodic inventory system, we would add those as part of inventory. But in this case, they're not specific, so I'd write it off as expenses. Number 4. And they said paid, so I would use the CPJ, which is the cash payments. Okay. So what's the expense account? Is carriage. Purchases. And then because we paid cash for it, let me just check. Paid by check. So now, because this is an old paper, most question papers now will say paid by electronic funds transfer, which is the EFT. Which is 180,000. So the bank is decreasing. And the expenses have been incurred. Okay. Hope we're flowing. It was discovered that the stationery purchased on the 26th of September 2009 for 650 was entered in to the trading inventory column in the cash payments journal for September. Correct the error. So it means it was put in the trading inventory column. So it was as if we purchased stock. So that means, let me just freeze the panes. Freeze panes. Freeze top row. Undo. Freeze panes. Freeze top row. Okay, I just wanted. Let's try again. Let's try again. It's only if I wanted to freeze panes. Okay, let's just hide. But I will not help because I don't want. So hiding will also hide debits and credit, which is so not cool, but it's fine. Let's just improvise on that one. Okay, so they're saying here the inventory the stationery, which is the expense. So I would put this, what is the date? 5th. That it's number 5 actually. So I would put this in a general journal. I would put this in the general journal, and because we're fixing an error, and the account that should be there is stationery. And it's minus it's 50. Put 0 here. And then this was incorrectly debited in the inventory account. So to fix it, we will have to credit the inventory account. I hope you get this. Because it was a plus in the inventory account, so now we have to make it a minus. So that inventory account is 0 with regards to this entry. Now it says Mr. Jones bought a cell phone. So Mr. Jones is just a random customer, bought a cell phone from Cellcom traders on credit for 3,060. So this person bought on credit. So what would we use? We would use debtors journal. Debtors journal. So we've got a debtor, Mr. Jones, buying on credit. For 3,060, the plus. And then we've got credit sales increasing. Now, you know the drill. We need to do the sales cost of sales because our inventory is moving. So we have copy the formula across. Then Postnet sent us an invoice for 60 Rand for delivering the cell phones to Mr. Jones. We have charged the delivery to his account. So now we need that was number 7. I would record this in the general journal or debtors journal because it's going to be charged to his account. In the general journal, I would record the expense, which is courier services. And because we got the invoice, so it means we did not pay. Creditor, which is 60 Rand. Sorry about that. 60 Rand. I lie. I lie about this. Okay. Yeah, so this minus is 0. And then in the data account, I would record it this way. I would have the data. I would have the data. Which account would I have to credit? I would use courier services. Correct me if I'm wrong. So either way, so the most obvious one you would have chosen is this one. Then the second one would have been that one, but you have to record it once. You have to record it once because you're looking at the company level. You're not looking at a data level. So this one is really at a data level. This one is at a company level. DJ Frauded Data had previously sent us a check for 475 in settlement of his account after allowing him a 5% discount. This has been recorded correctly, so we don't need to record it. This check has now been returned by the bank, marked return account to insufficient funds. This discount must also be cancelled. Okay, let's see. Okay, so 475. Sometimes it's interesting how they would give you this transaction and you would think the discount has been taken. Sometimes the examiner has not taken the discount. Okay, so this would go through the CPJ. Which is the cash balance journal. Cash payments journal. Okay. So what is the account to debit and what is the account to credit? So we received money, so we recorded it as a CRJ that the bank has received money. Now, the bank doesn't have money anymore because the check bounced. What do we have? It's a debtor. Now, I'm very careful to qualify that. Now, assuming that the 475, it was after the 5% was taken. So, meaning now, I hope you understand. I'm saying the 475, read the transaction again. And remember, I said download the question paper. Says DJ Frauded had previously sent us a check of 475 in settlement of his account after allowing the 5%. So I'm assuming now this is after the 5% was allowed. So they paid us 475, but the total debt, it was 500 rand. So now this is the debt that has increased. The bank, and I hope you see how I calculated this, but now I need to put in the signs. So let me hard code this. So we are saying plus 500. But then the bank, we lost 475 because Mr. DJ Fraud okay. Then they're saying this discount must be reversed. So we would have had discount allowed as an expense of 25 rand. So now we need to treat it as discount received because we're doing a reversal. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then 600 was received from a tenant. This is rent income. So this was hard cash received. So it would have been recorded in the CRJ. So that's the account that is increasing is bank and rent income. Okay. 600. Interest from the current account. So we would use CRJ and its bank. We've got interest income, which is 40 rand. And then a check of 250 was sent to BED Insure. This was for the monthly insurance premium. So we would use, what is this one? The 10th. So we would use the CPJ. And insurance, remember in my examples, is an expense. The previous videos. 250. Okay, so now we are done. Let me just unhide. Now we are done. So unless they ask you to total, then you total. Because sometimes marks are in the totals, especially for tests. For exams, it's in the analysis. Let's try to total. Okay. Okay, so let's try to add. So 2016 minus minus 700 minus 180 minus 650 plus 3060 minus 1700. So count 160 rand minus 160 plus 25. Plus 640 minus 250. Okay. So 2016 minus 720 minus 700 plus 11,000 minus 180 minus 650 plus 2060 minus 1,700 plus 60 plus 500 minus 475 600. And I need to minus that 60 rand because I was just making an example. When I recorded, when you're recording at data account level, plus 40 minus 250. Let's see if we are balancing. Yay, we're balancing. So remember, this one was at it's not at a data account level. Okay, so guys, I hope you've seen how we do the accounting equation. So I always say a pass mark for me is 80%. Okay, goodbye. Subscribe, like, share. And yes, it's long, but it's worth it. Goodbye.